Hi, do you want to know about parenting kids when they're parents? I'm Nicholeen Peck and I teach parenting all over the world. I'm also the mother of 4 and they're all adults now, some of them parents. So let's talk about parenting the children when they're parents. Now, I know the scenario can look different. You could have a child who is raising their own children and they don't live with you. You could also have a child who's raising a child and they do live with you. So let's talk about what to do in each of those different situations. Parents don't stop being parents just because their children are adults or because their children have children of their own. We're always going to be their parents. They need us to be their parents. In fact, what is that supposed to look like? When you have adult children, they need someone who will support them emotionally and in a relationship way. They need someone to tell things to, the good days and the bad days. They need somebody who's been there before, who gets it. They need someone who will give them advice and share wisdom with them as they go along their life's journey, especially when they're young adults. Their prefrontal cortexes aren't fully developed yet. Oftentimes, the prefrontal cortex does not fully develop for someone until they're in their mid-20s. This means that they need their parents in their lives still to ask questions and to help them occasionally solve a problem. So don't be put out if your child asks you to help solve problems, because that actually is them just getting over those last hurdles until they become an independent, full-functioning adult themselves. Now, sometimes a child can have a child before that prefrontal cortex is even fully developed. In fact, my daughter had her first baby before the age of 25, and she would actually say to me, "Mom, I feel like I'm still learning so many things. How can I do this with the baby too?" Of course, they wanted the baby. They planned for the baby. She's married and it was all planned out, but she felt like she still needed to learn so much. And I told her, "Honey, we all feel like that. It doesn't matter what age you have that child, you will never be fully prepared." That's the type of wisdom that a parent can share with a child so that they feel like they can do it. I think that's one thing they look to us for, is for security and confidence, to know they can make it through this thing called parenting that seems hard and it is tiring, more tiring than probably anything they've ever done before. So a big thing about parenting children who already are parents is understanding your role. And if you haven't read this book called Roles: The Secret to Family, Business, and Social Success, I'm going to highly recommend that to you, because that talks about people's roles in the family, and it also gives you an insight into what your role looks like when a child reaches adulthood. So no longer are you telling them what to do in every particular, and you're not telling them they've earned extra chores and other negative consequences. Instead, you take on this advisory role, and the respect should look a little bit different. It almost looks a little bit more like Friends. However, you still maintain that parental figure in their minds, meaning you are someone they've learned from in the past. And so hopefully they will keep feeling like they can learn from you, even though now they have become the teachers in somebody else's life. Now, when I made this book, Roles, I actually made it because of this book here, Parenting a House United. I wanted people to be able to better apply the skills to parenting that was in this book, Parenting a House United, and I recognized that they needed some more help with roles first before they could understand and apply everything in that book. And I'm going to give you this book free at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. A key thing that you need to understand, besides your role, which is basically your identity in the life of your child, is how they process the information coming from you. Now, there is different personalities out there, right? There's some personalities who are very open to people teaching them things, and then there's other personalities that are a little bit more strong-willed, a little bit more maybe prideful, and they want to come up with every idea on their own. They want to do everything themselves, right? So when you tell a child who has to come up with everything themselves some piece of advice, don't ever expect to get thanked for it, okay? That's just how it goes, because if they did like it and they use it, then they will assume it was their own idea. And that's just how it goes. But hopefully you can have an open type of communication that you've built over time when they were younger, so that they can come to you and they feel completely free and easy learning from you, asking for advice, admitting when things go wrong. This all gets formed as you are correcting behaviors over their lifetime, and you've done it in a way that is safe and non-emotional, non-condescending, all of those things. So that is one thing you want to be really careful about now, is not coming across as condescending or all-knowing in everything, because that's going to definitely rub your child the wrong way. They need to see you as a person who cares and who gives advice and who will be there for them and support them, even if you don't always agree with everything that they do. Maybe you're concerned with how your child is actually parenting. This can be a big concern for many parents, as they see their child parenting in ways that seems detrimental to their grandchild. What do we do about that? Before we get to how to teach your child to parent their child, which is a little easier than you might think, click the subscribe button. This channel is dedicated to giving you information that you need to help your children and yourself get better at self-governing, communicating, and finding that calmness that you're looking for. Click subscribe now. Up until this point, I've been assuming that your child is not living with you, that your child is raising your grandchild at a different location, and you see them periodically, you ask how things are going, and you give them advice about their parenting and such. But it could be that your child lives right in your home. Maybe your child even is still kind of young and they need a parent to tell them things to do still. Well, that puts you in a different situation. So you might have to be having your parenting still continuing while you are helping them break away from it to become the parent of their child too. Do not start parenting their child unless you have an understanding about that. They can resent you for it, but also the grandchild can become very confused and can even start turning everyone in the house against their parent. Because if the grandchild starts seeing you as the alpha adult in their life, then the parent loses the identity that they need in the eyes of the child and for themselves and their own confidence. So make sure that if you are helping out with the child, that it's very clear, I'm helping out from this time to this time, you're the parent, you need to be handling things from this time to this time. So you've got to have those conversations ahead of time. That's called pre-teaching. You need to prepare for that. But you also need to talk about how you're still helping them develop since they're younger, or since they happen to still be in your home, they still have certain responsibilities, and that they need to follow through with those responsibilities and how you will handle it. And all of the answers will be in the free book that you're going to have at the end. But let's talk about how to help them when they are not doing well with their parenting, whether they're living with you or not. I know this can be very hard to see. Just the other day, I was speaking at a private event, and there was a woman who came to me and said, I wish I had this about 12 years ago when I was still parenting my own children. Now I'm the grandma, I'm looking on, I'm seeing my children with multiple nannies and all these different things trying to raise these children, but they're not doing a good job. Everybody seems to be failing the child. The children are not turning out, right? And so I happened to mention to the woman about my book and about my program, and she's like, they need this. I need to get them to care about this. And that's the thing, is will the child care? So in this day and age, it really has been presented to a lot of young parents that the whole sign of success as an adult is that you do all the things in life and you make all the money in life, but you don't really have to do it yourself. Somebody else does it for you. And when it comes to parenting, nobody can bond for you. Someone can make your child food, they can dress your child, they can teach your child, they can even play with your child. They can bond with your child, but they can't bond for you with your child. And so what happens is a lot of parents nowadays are forgetting that, and they're allowing, so long as the child doesn't do that bad behavior right then, they don't care how they handled it. They just, handle it. Maybe they get emotional, or maybe they ignore it and hope that it will just go away. When in reality, they are abandoning their children when they need them. And I know a lot of parents are witnessing aggressive behaviors and even very passive behaviors from their children, and they're very concerned about their grandchildren. And I know that this can be really difficult. I've had multiple friends who have come to me and have said, hey, Nicholeen, can I have your help here? What do I do as the grandma? So that's why I'm making this video today, because we do need to know what to do. So one thing we need to start out with is understanding and trying to make sure that we have a good bond or connection with that adult child. So after you've opened the doors of communication with your child and you've kind of established a good relationship there the best you can, then you might be able to give some advice. They're not going to listen to advice from a person that they feel disconnected to, or a person that they feel like is only trying to tell them what to do. People get prideful about that. They want their privacy. They want to feel like they're living their own lives, and they don't want intrusion. And so you don't want to come across as that person that is intruding. So after you have a good relationship, then you can have conversations where you broach topics that were previously off limits. Things such as how the children are being raised. So start commenting on, oh, so-and-so seems to be doing a great job with that, or so-and-so really seems to love to have you around. I would start by praising the good things, okay? So you start by saying, this is a great thing that you're doing. I've noticed your child seems to really enjoy this. Or you seem to be working hard on having a good relationship with your child, or taking time with your child. Or I noticed you corrected that behavior about your child. You did a really good job there. Or that was a good catch. I might not have caught that. Saying something that lets them know you do notice they're doing a good job. So then I would start loading on those types of positive things so that they see that you notice the good that they're doing, okay? Then we're going to switch in another conversation, or later on at some other time, to something you might notice. And you want to make sure that it comes out just right. So at this point, you can talk about now what you have a concern about, or a piece of advice that you want to give. So then you might want to say something like, hey, I had a thought of something I think that might be of help to you, or you might find interesting. Do you want to hear it? So this is a very non-confrontational, I haven't judged you in any way. Say, I noticed the other day so-and-so was, not wanting to get in the car when you wanted them to get in the car. And I thought to myself, hey, I saw this lady on YouTube and she was talking about following instructions. And there's this video there about following instructions, which I totally have videos about following instructions here on YouTube. And then you could say, and I wondered if teaching the child how to follow instructions could actually help, because this lady has had a lot of success with it and there's people all over the world using it. In fact, I got this free book, right? So then you could tell them they could go get a free book too if they wanted to. So they could come and find this video or a different video where I might offer a free book, and they could get that going as well. So there are trainings that you could suggest that they attend later on, right? But just to open the conversation, bring up one skill. In fact, there's some children's books that you could present to the child that might be just for fun, that could even give the parents an idea on skills that the child could learn if they ever read the books to the child. The books that I recommend are these 4 children's books. They each teach one of the 4 basic skills. So this one right here, London LaRae Says Okay, teaches how to follow instructions. This one, Porter Earns a Quarter, teaches how to accept no answers and criticism. This book here, Big Win for Quinn, teaches how to accept consequences, which is required if a person's going to learn self-government. And then this book here teaches disagreeing appropriately, which is usually their favorite skill because it teaches them how to get their way, how to talk to mom and dad about situations without having to have a power struggle or get emotional about that. And they don't even know that that's possible yet. So teach your children the skills that they need to teach their children. They will feel liberated, and hopefully then they'll start learning the parent skills that they need, because those are just the child skills. Of course, everyone needs them because really they're adult skills for life, but there are certain parenting skills that also help keep a calm face, voice, and body, and help keep the connection with the child, and help the parent be more invested in what's going on with the child as well. I promised you a free gift, my book for free, Parenting a House United. This is my main book, and you can get it for free. So just click in the description below this video. There is a link to my free book plus shipping. So if you just pay the shipping cost, we will send it to you completely free. And this book will give you all of the teaching styles that you probably want to teach to your child. It will teach them how to teach those 4 basic skills. It will also help you as you're trying to fix your relationship with your child, because everything I talk about in here is actually just a principle. And principles are broadly applicable, which means even though you are not currently raising them as a child, but they're an adult now and they have children of their own, still the communication principles apply in here. And hopefully as you learn them for that grandchild, they can also strengthen the relationship between you and your child now. So click on the link and get this book for free.